All right, you guys, let's talk about Rampage and Collision. Obviously, I was watching the Survivor Series pay-per-view. I did watch most of Rampage, but let's talk about what happened. First match on Rampage, we had Hook versus Rocky Romero. Now, I know this sounds a bit random, but I think it's great for Hook because he gets experience with people that he should be in the ring with, not some random people for like a whole minute and then he ends up hitting the red rum and win. He needs experience with people who has been there and done that. Rocky obviously have matches on Ring of Honor and AEW here and there, but you'll mostly see him on CMLL and on New Japan. And he kills it. He is someone who's well-rounded in the ring and has a lot of experience. So Hook really needed someone like this to go against. I would say they probably was in the ring for like 12 to 10 minutes. And Hook takes the win with the red rum. But Hook looks much better here, actually being used with someone that can get the best out of him. Now, when I see Hook being in the ring with someone like Rocky, I do see some of the flaws that you don't see when he has just a 1 minute match. Now, the longer he goes in the ring, now you're starting to see, okay, he's good, but he needs to be better. So Hook, I know you got the FTW title. It don't mean shit over here in AEW, but you need more experience. He probably shouldn't have won, but he needs more matches like this. Match was cool. Now, we do also have women's in action. We have Chris Statlander versus Diamante. Now, they actually have a pretty good match, and I'm glad we're using Diamante. She is so talented. We're also seeing her a little bit more on Ring of Honor, but it's like she's on 1 week, next 2 weeks we don't see her again, then she's back, and then we don't see her for another month or so. Whatever is going on over there, I don't know. Now, a few minutes into their match, we do have Mercedes Martinez who come out, who I've been wondering where she been since she's had that match with Athena, but she looks fine. She's there and obviously cheering on her bestie. Now, Chris Statlander ended up winning here, and Chris looks so much bigger than Diamante. I was just like, damn, I didn't realize how big she was. I know Diamante's more on the shorter side, but Chris really looks huge. Great match between these two ladies. We knew the second that Chris Statlander wins, here comes Diamante and Mercedes putting the beat down on Chris Statlander, and then here comes Willow Nightingale saving the day, saving her bestie. And I'm like, okay, we already saw this on Ring of Honor, not with Chris Statlander, but we've seen with Sky Blue, they did this already over there. So I'm seeing where they go with this, because Willow, ain't you supposed to be like turning to the dark side or something? Are we done with that? I'm not sure. Up next, we have a promo with Daniel Garcia. He is letting people know that, you know, he's a little intimidated, but he's no loser. Okay, great. Now, speaking of losers, we have the Kingdom versus some jobbers. I don't even know if they said their name. This was just a really quick squash match for no freaking reason at all. Obviously, the Kingdom ends up winning, and I'm just like, what is up with this? Why are we wasting our time with matches like this? It doesn't mean anything. Now, the Kingdom also do state here that they're going to be going for the tag team gold, the Ring of Honor gold. And that's a team that should have already had it this whole freaking time. So I really do hope that at World's End, they go against MJF, probably alone, and take the titles. I'm over it when it comes to this Ring of Honor titles on the wrong ass people. Now, here's our main event. We have Shibata versus Wheeler Yuta. And the match was okay. They've actually had a better match before. Wheeler Yuta is cheating in this match, and this does not surprise me. And I'll tell you why. Because they're supposed to be baby faces, and it's like every 2 weeks they're switching between baby faces and being heels, baby faces and being heel. And I'm like, what y'all doing with the Blackpool Combat Club? It kind of doesn't really make sense how they keep switching up on us when it comes to these guys. So you never know what you're going to get until they get in the ring. So before this, Wheeler Yuta was pretty babyface, especially maybe 2 weeks ago. He and Claudio Castagnoli went to go save FTR. That's a babyface thing to do. Now all of a sudden, Wheeler Yuta's over here cheating and kicking people in the nuts and all this stuff. And he ends up winning, and the title's on the line. So now he's a new Pure Rules champion. And I'm just like, what the hell? Now I'm reading reports, okay, not confirmed reports though, that Shibata may be having visa issues and have to go back to Japan for a period of time. So he had no choice but to drop this title. Okay, cool. So you guys dropped the title on Wheeler Yuta, who's not on Ring of Honor, when y'all could have been putting the title on somebody that's over there. So now this is the third time that Wheeler Yuta has had this title. I get it. Y'all wanted to put it on somebody with experience, but there's some good people over there. Why I didn't put it on Josh Woods? Like, he could have been, like, I think next in line based on what's going on over there in Ring of Honor. And y'all just go for people that's not even on the show. You know what? It's just ridiculous. It is what it is. And Wheeler Yuta does attack Shibata after all this. And it just, I don't know. I don't like it. Anyway, the pay-per-view is a couple of weeks away. I don't know. I already paid and bought my ticket for the thing, so it better be good. It better be good. At this point, I'm only going to see Athena. But anyway, let's go into Collision and what went on there. First match of the night, we had Claudio Castagnoli versus Daniel Garcia. And Daniel Garcia had told us earlier he ain't no loser, but he lost this match. Now, honestly, watching this, I was like, wait a minute, Daniel Garcia kind of really don't stand a chance here. And that's exactly what it looked like here. I think like it was really apparent as soon as this started that he was not going to win here. And I thought that, well, I was hoping that, there would have been younger guys in this tournament to begin with. And instead, someone like Daniel Garcia, who's the youngest guy, who has the least experience out of everybody in this whole tournament, just looked like he's just there just to be there at this point. So he does end up losing. Claudio wins. And Wheeler Yuta, who's now the new pure champion, he comes out and celebrate with his bestie. That's what friends do, right? Now, after that, we do have Kill Switch. He is coming down to the ring. Oh, I'm sorry. Kill Switch was Luchasaurus. So, yeah, whatever. Got a new name. And he has somewhat of a new look. And when I was looking at his look, I was like, he looked like he could have been on Adam's team at the pay-per-view because he has black and white. And it just looked like something that fit in with what they were wearing at the pay-per-view the other day. But anyway, he comes out and I'm like, well, who's he going against? His opponents, with an S, are already in there. And it's the boys from Dalton and the Boys. And I'm just like, oh my God, Kill Switch is going to come take care of both of these two guys and just flatten them like pancakes. And that's exactly what he does. And he wins this. And I'm like, you went against the Boys. They're really talented wrestlers, but this ain't nothing to celebrate about. Now, after he wins and damn near kills these guys, he goes and attacks them some more. Now, here comes Adam Copeland, who comes out basically saving the Boys, but this is really about getting his hands on Kill Switch. Now, he is getting into it with Kill Switch and gives him a concerto. Now, here comes Kill Switch just getting up ever so slowly, but he's getting up. And Adam looked back and he's like, what, this bitch ain't down? Like, well, what I gotta do next? So then Adam goes and gives him a curb stomp onto the chair that he just gave him concerto on. But this bitch is not done. He gets a chair again and give him another concerto to make sure his ass stay down. Now, later on, after the commercial break, we do have Adam, who was about to get interviewed by Lexi, but he told her to get the step in. He's mad and he don't want to cross no lines, so she left. And here we have a somewhat of an unhinged Adam Copeland, who's obviously not happy with Christian, and he wants to face Christian for the TNT title on December 6th, which is going to be somewhere in Canada. I can't remember where. And I'm just like, oh, on a random night of the week. This is not a pay-per-view thing. This is a random night of the week. The titles better not change hands because of that. Maybe they might go at it or something might prevent them from actually having this match, which I hope is going to be the case. But we're going to end up seeing these two go at it on December 6th and not necessarily World's End pay-per-view. We'll see if maybe you get pushed to that. I don't know, but it doesn't sound like a good idea in my opinion. But Adam looked really, really good here. And for whatever reason, some people say that Adam is turning heel. I just don't see it. I know he's annoyed as fuck about what's going on with Christian and them, but a heel, I wouldn't say so. Next, we had tag team action. We had Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews versus Commander and Gravity. Obviously, Buddy and Malachi takes the win. I mean, the match was good, but it was like, I don't know. After watching Survivor Series and everybody talking about CM Punk, people barely talking about Randy, stuff like that, like, I was a little bit more into, like, going and scrolling on my phone and seeing what's going on. The match just didn't grab me like that, but it was decent. I ended up watching it again, and honestly, it ain't really nothing special. It's just us seeing Malachi and Buddy Matthews as a tag team for the first time. Since Brody is on the Continental Classic tournament, we're going to be seeing Malachi and Buddy doing their thing. And I'm really surprised that maybe at least 2 out of the 3 of the members are not on that tournament, because other than the trios titles and them kind of having like a shitty run with it anyway, they could have put someone like Malachi on there. We would have been able to see him in situations where, you know, he's in solo action. I would take Buddy too. Buddy is super talented. He had a really great match with Claudio Castagnoli the other day on a pre-show of all things. But I digress. Let's move on. Now after this, we do have Darius Martin and Action Andretti. They've been killing it as trios and as tag team. Action Andretti is pretty much the cousin of the Top Flight, and they've been doing their thing. Now they're just talking or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, they're gonna announce something. Something's gonna happen, and then boom, an NBA commercial cuts off what they're saying for a few seconds, and then it cuts back to them, and now Dante Martin is back, and I'm just like, oh, hell no. Like, these guys are doing their thing, talking, and they get interrupted by a commercial. Now, AEW does the right thing, and later on they re-air that whole segment because we really missed the whole thing with that commercial coming up or whatever. So it's great to see Dante back. They're probably going to be trios for now, and if they know what's best, okay, since no one really truly missed Dante, because Action Andretti and Darius, they pretty much was Top Flight this whole time. They'll run an angle where there's some issues between Dante and Action Andretti or whatever. They could take advantage of that if they want to. I don't know, whatever. Now after this, we have Julia versus Lady Frost. Another great match. I know it feels random because we don't really see Lady Frost in AEW. She's pretty much on Ring of Honor, and for whatever reason, she's just always losing her matches. I just don't understand how someone so talented is always booked to freaking lose. So yeah, she does lose this match. The title was on the line, and they're not going to give it up, obviously, so quickly to someone who's not necessarily usually on the show, but it was still a great match, and we get to see how well Julia can continue to do now that she's holding a title. So great title defense, but I really like to see Lady Frost get some W's at some point. Up next, we had Uncle Don and Powerhouse Hobbs. They're doing an interview, and they're not happy about the Golden Jets getting a title opportunity for the tag team gold. They're like, y'all only had 2 matches together. You barely won those, and all of a sudden, y'all #1 contenders for the titles. And then here comes Unc talking about he's gonna send Hobbs on Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, that he'll be able to take both of their asses down. And I'm just like, he probably could, probably. I don't know exactly when that match is gonna happen, but that's gonna be pretty interesting to see Powerhouse Hobbs in this handicap match situation. And Powerhouse Hobbs was standing there while Uncle Don doing all the talking, and then we finally get some words from Powerhouse Hobbs. He lets us know that he's big, he's black, and he's jacked, and anyone can get it. And when he says that, I'm like, are we talking about the wrestling thing, or is this directed towards the ladies? Because the ladies, we would like to know if that's the case. Now we have more tag team action. We had The Righteous versus FTR, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired of seeing FTR. They literally probably have been on every episode of Collision, and I'm over it. Now, they have a match, and I'm not gonna lie, I was not too interested. It was okay. By this time, I put my phone down, and I was really focused on what was going on. I'm not sure what they're doing with the Righteous. The Righteous, after they lost their opportunity to snag the tag team gold from MJF and pretty much been made fool out of, so that, MJF could retain the title, we've done nothing with them in Ring of Honor. One time they had a promo about them being, a really good tag team or whatever. And since then, we ain't seen not one thing from the Righteous on Ring of Honor. Now, we did see the Righteous go team up with Lance Archer, and they had Jake the Snake Roberts with them, which I thought, okay, this is a really nice trios, but what has come of that since then? Nothing. Anyway, let me not rant. The match is okay. FTR obviously wins. And right after that, we have Malachi Black and Buddy Matthews. They are making their way towards the ring from the crowd. Obviously, the lights do cut off first, and then they come out, and Malachi is on the mic. I can't talk. He's on the mic, and he goes, you think that AEW has some kind of brotherhood going on here? There is no one to save you. He said Cesaro can't save you. And I was like, who the hell is Cesaro? Like, it's Claudio Castagnoli now. And then he says, Yuta can't save you. And I was like, well, Yuta by himself? No. And then he goes, CM Punk can't save y'all. Now, obviously, this was an hour or so before CM Punk had returned to WWE. And I think people thought that it was interesting that he had said that, especially since everyone was kind of expecting for him to be at Survivor Series. So that was interesting enough. The lights cut off, and FTR thinks they're going to get attacked, but they don't. Malachi and Buddy, they end up just leaving, probably went home or whatever, and that's pretty much it. I don't know where they're going with the storyline, but it is what it is. Now, after that, we do have Tony Schiavone in the ring. He's with our tag team champions, Pretty Ricky Starks and Big Bill. They cut a promo. Big Bill is using a lot of basketball references. I do not know anything about basketball, so it did nothing for me. However, Big Bill lets us know that despite all the bullshit that he's been through, going through addictions, he always knew that he was going to make it on top. And that little promo there, that portion of the promo, really made me feel good for Big Bill. And I'm glad that he's been able to get through those demons and being able to hold his first gold throughout his years of being a professional wrestler. This is the first time he's holding gold, period. So I'm happy for him. We have Ricky, who actually kind of really let Big Bill do most of the talking here. And I really, really enjoyed that. That's what we got. Big Bill having a little bit of time to shine, despite me not knowing this basketball stuff. But one of the things that he said that was funny was saying that the Golden Jets are pretty much the Golden Girls, pretty much referencing how old they are or whatnot. Talk shit about Chris Jericho all you want. He's old or whatever. But Kenny Omega, he's young enough for me. So, yeah, great promo. Liked it. All right, up next, we had Keith Lee versus Lee Moriarty. Now, they've been teasing this for like 2-3 months now. Keith Lee obviously has some issues with Shane Taylor Productions. And Lee Moriarty is part of Shane Taylor Productions, but they keep teasing that they gonna have a match and nothing ever happens. They let weeks go by, have another promo, weeks go by, have another promo, and finally we're getting something out of it. So we have Lee Moriarty, who comes out, and I love Lee Moriarty. He's one of our fellow straight edge people, and also he's super technical in the ring, and that's my favorite type of style when it comes to wrestling. So he wins me over almost every time, except for tonight. This match right here, I don't know. I just did not care for this. I just felt like what are we doing here? It felt all over the place. These two guys have two different styles, but also I felt like they were making Lee Moriarty kind of hold back his style so that we get to see more of a strength thing when it comes to Keith Lee, like a David versus Goliath thing, but David ain't gonna win. It just felt so freaking strange. I don't know what it was. Look, this episode of Collision was mid as fuck. I'll tell you that. One of the worst ones for me in terms of how well Collision has been since they started earlier this summer. And I don't know, I just did not care about this at all. Matter of fact, y'all can skip this. And, the crowd was chanting Lee, Lee, Lee. And they on commentary talking about, oh, well, which Lee are they chanting for? Bitch, They just said Lee Moriarty's from Pittsburgh, and that's where they're at. Obviously, they're cheering for him. Especially when his music started, everybody was cheering for him because he's the hometown boy. What, you know what? Whatever. The match sucked, in my opinion, and I felt like they held Lee Moriarty back from doing what it is that he normally does, which is greatness. Y'all need to be doing better with these guys. Like, what the fuck was that? I didn't like it at all. Skip it. Skip it at all costs. Main event time, we had Brody King versus Eddie Kingston. Now, I knew going into this was going to be very, very interesting. This is the first time both of these guys has been in the tournament. By now, almost everyone has already had one match. So, how did this go? This is the only match that I think is actually really worth watching from Collision. You get something new with these two guys, and to really see, surprisingly, Brody King being absolutely dominant in this match really took me by surprise. And I think that really showed that, you know, Eddie Kingston has been on a high because not only has he had amazing matches, title defenses when it comes to the Ring of Honor title. I'm not too sure about the open weight title. I'm not sure how great those matches has been. Pretty sure it's great since he still kept that title. Now, he's been looking pretty strong in those matches. He's had some great promos along the way as well. However, obviously you hold two titles, now you think you the shit. And Eddie Kingston, he's still being himself, but obviously he got to have a little bit of chip on his shoulder because he has these two titles. And here comes Brody King shutting that shit down and showing everyone why everyone should bet on him to win this Continental Classic tournament. And I'm just like, oh shit, I wasn't betting on you before, but I'll put a couple of dollars in and see what happens with that. He was absolutely amazing here. And like I said, we don't necessarily see situations where Eddie Kingston is absolutely being dominated by someone else. Eddie Kingston is a pure fighter, and I just feel like with this match, we didn't see too much of him being on the defense. Brody was just taking care of business throughout pretty much the whole thing. And I was like, you know what? This is what we're going with at first. That last 5 minutes or so, we're going to have Eddie Kingston, pushing and going for the win. And surprise, surprise, that does not happen. Eddie Kingston loses his first match in this tournament. Brody King wins, and he looks absolutely amazing here. He is such a cutie. I love Brody King. Now, confusing enough, when Eddie Kingston comes out to the ring, Nigel says that Eddie Kingston had relinquished the Ring of Honor title and the New Japan title, pretty much vacating those. And then when Eddie Kingston lost, he goes, Eddie Kingston is one step away from losing the titles. And I'm just like, you just said he relinquished the titles. He don't have them bitches anymore. It's been so confusing what the hell this tournament is. But a really great match. One of the best matches in this tournament to begin with. Now we have another week of the tournament going through all the way until World's End. And let's see who's going to win the whole damn thing. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back on Wednesday with Dynamite. Bye.